Sheriff Grady Judd. This is from yesterday. Florida Sheriff Grady Judd. We've seen this guy pop up in videos every so often, and this guy is just a hero. This is a police officer and a leader and a sheriff, and this is how shit should be handled. When you see him talk about crime and criminals, he's very blunt. I believe there was an instance a while back where a homeowner had shot an intruder in the house, and the media was asking some questions, and he said, yeah, well, we want the people to shoot the criminals going into their homes. It gives them less to do, and it's effective. The other thing was, I believe years ago, they asked him something to the effect of why did they shoot somebody 50 times? And he said, we ran out of bullets, suggesting he probably should have been shot more times. So this guy's always a hoot. And with the recent unrest around the country because of the ICE raids on illegals in this country, the law enforcement in Florida have stepped up and put certain things in place to protect the citizens, the taxpayers, the law-abiding people, residents of the various counties in Florida. And Sheriff Grady Judd got up and gave a few words about how he will be handling any riots, protests, or riots. Protests or riots. Here's Florida Sheriff Grady Judd.
So that there's no misunderstanding today, this is a peaceful protest. This is a riot. We can tell the difference. The governor can tell the difference. Our law enforcement officers can tell the difference. In the event you didn't get that, let me show you something. This is a peaceful protest. This is looting. If you loot, the next thing you can try to steal is something off of your food tray at the county jail, because you're going to jail. That's a guarantee. And we're going to enjoy taking you down there.
That's awesome. Yeah. No nonsense. No bullshit. That's the way things are supposed to be dealt with. The law enforcement is supposed to deal with these fucking rioters. And that's what they are. Just stop with the peaceful protest. All of them. It was a peaceful protest. I haven't seen one peaceful protest. There's cameras everywhere. They're literally catching plane crashes now. You know, years ago, the odds of actually catching a plane crash were astronomical. Now there's so many cameras and so many people with phones, cameras, that it's almost impossible not to catch everything that's happening. And if there are so many, like they say, the vast majority of the protests are peaceful. If that's the case, why aren't we seeing that? We're just seeing rioting. And then you could say, well, maybe the media wants to just sensationalize things and get ratings. I get that, but they're also following orders. They're also the propaganda wing for the left. So you would think they would show these peaceful protests. But I haven't seen any. And then the ones they say are peaceful, they're marching down a highway or a county road or blocking traffic. That's not a peaceful protest. That is illegal, and it should be broken up by law enforcement, by force if necessary, and people should be arrested. They're calling marching down the street a peaceful protest, as people can't do business or drive emergency vehicles where they're needed. Yeah, that's not a peaceful fucking protest, okay? And another great person in Florida. Let me see if I got this one. Did I get that one? Let me see. Oh, man, I was hoping I did. I got Sheriff Grady, but also... Oh, I might have put that on my other prep sheet. DeSantis, governor of Florida, Governor DeSantis, he put out a statement about the rioting and saying that, yeah, people, if you're trapped and you're in your car and you're surrounded by rioters, just run them over. You could run them over. That's fine. Which I thought was awesome. Of course. Don't we all say that? Is there any person of reasonable mental capacity, your average person, that watches a video of a car being surrounded by rioters and doesn't think, hey, step on the gas, run them over, who gives a shit? Anyone with common sense thinks that. If you're looking at that scene and going, well, why don't you get out? Talk with these people. They're reasonable. If you're thinking that, you have no survival instinct whatsoever. So, so people like Governor DeSantis are saying, yeah, if that happens, you're well within your right to drive away from the situation. And the person that was in the way is responsible for their own damage and harm that was bestowed upon them by your automobile. So that's kind of nice. That's good to see. It's a lot different from California, New York. New York, I guess 5 police cars were set on fire last night. 5 NYPD cars set on fire. And New York is doing like the best job I've seen so far of dealing with these riots, trying to keep them at bay, keep them moving, and still, a shitload of equipment got damaged. So, like I said, it's good. It is good to see, though, that some law enforcement, Texas, I guess, Greg Abbott, their Hot Wheels, as Slavey Crockett called him, he's doing the same thing. He's getting the National Guard out there and just making sure nothing happens. And we haven't seen any National Guardsmen, romping on rioters. They're there to prevent that shit from happening. You don't wait until your city's on fire in order to bring in overwhelming force to clean it up. You do it first to prevent it from happening at all. And we've seen a lot of instances of vandalism and arson and assaults in California, but not nearly as many as you would have seen if this was allowed to continue without a huge presence of law enforcement and National Guardsmen coming in. So they could say what they want. Trump did this to provoke, and he's the cause of all the problems, and it's not a democracy anymore. It's totalitarian dictatorships. He's sending the soldiers in, peaceful protest, all the bullshit that they'll tell you. When the truth is, he sent in a force to prevent any of that from happening. You'd have to be unbelievably retarded to think you could start looting and burning things when you have this overwhelming, well-prepared, well-armed force of the National Guard and Marines and local law enforcement. So it pretty much fizzled out. Like I said, there's still instances, but nowhere near. Denver, they were having some shit go on, and Omaha, Nebraska. So they're trying to get this going. But in these places where there's an overwhelming show of force, law enforcement, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It can't. Seattle, like I said, that police force has been castrated. So they just run away and let these douchebag white Antifa nerds take over streets and nonsense like that. But, yeah, you need overwhelming force.